Attack of the Clones is the worst of the Star Wars prequels. I won't try to convince you otherwise. There are corny scenes, wooden lines, and ham-fisted plot points, but I will try to give you a new appreciation for this underrated film by pointing out one simple fact. What it gets right, it gets right. And what it gets right is the most important thing of all. George Lucas has said Attack of the Clones is a love story. It's not. But it is a story about lovers. In the same way that Romeo and Juliet is less a love story than it is a warning about how youthful passion without the proper support or context can often become impulsive and destructive. Forbidden love is dangerous. Not because love is wrong, but because it inevitably invites conflict and inflames deadly passions. It wasn't Romeo and Juliet's fault for falling in love, nor for the family feud that doomed them, but charging ahead regardless was always going to end in tragedy. So Attack of the Clones is less a love story than it is a warning about how even our highest desires, unsupported and imbalanced, can break a man and a society apart. The dark side often emerges not from a desire for evil, but from the misguided pursuit of the good. For there is darkness in all of us, always on the prowl, and it does not care for our intentions. We must be vigilant. Even love, truth, justice, if left to run wild in the deep places of our heart, can unleash the monster within. Think of Anakin in The Phantom Menace. He's the moral center of the movie, held up in opposition to the greedy Trade Federation and the corrupt Republic, the complicit Queen and the conflicted Jedi. He's perfectly innocent, courageous, selfless, talented, a child's hero, a chosen one. He's so naively good, it's annoying. The Anakin we meet 10 years later is not.
I killed them all. They're dead. Every single one of them.
So what changed? Nothing. All the traits that made him so righteous in the first movie are exactly what lead him astray in the second. The same courage which thrived in the high-stakes death sport of pod racing have now made him brash and overconfident. The same innocence and passion for justice that dreamed of freeing the slaves on Tatooine has given him a sharp eye for corruption and a deep distrust of politics. The same selflessness that gave up everything for strangers in need now leads him to risk his position and his life for his mother and his master. The same love that made leaving his mother so difficult makes forgetting Padmé, the only tender presence in his life, impossible. Anakin's core character hasn't changed. He hasn't become evil. He wants to do what is right, but he is frustrated.
He's holding me back!
By rules and realities placed on him from the outside, by the Jedi and by politics and by life. He feels he is a slave once again, and he struggles against his chains. He doesn't see why those realities exist, or what the rules might be protecting him from. So he chases the good headlong into the abyss. It is pride, not just in his abilities, but in his righteousness, over and over again, that bring out the darkness sleeping within him. And that is the definition of a tragic hero. You can't blame Anakin for his desires. Can he help falling in love with Padmé, the one person who showed him compassion after leaving his mother? Is he wrong to want to find her killers or leap literally to her rescue? Of course not. And she returns his love, so what's the harm? The fault is not in the desire itself, but in putting that good desire above everything else. The Jedi, rightly or wrongly, have forbidden such relationships, reasoning that attachments create the possibility of loss.
Afraid to lose her, I think,
What does that got to do with anything?
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
It is, of course, a self-fulfilling prophecy, and ironically, a type of fear itself. Both attachments and loss are inevitable in life, and handling them productively is a lesson only learned through bitter experience. Thus, reuniting with Padmé is the one situation the Jedi haven't prepared him for, hence the awkward comments and creepy glances. He knows both the Jedi code and his love for Padmé are good, but not how to reconcile the two. And this conflict is what draws out his darker thoughts. Given no guidance, Left with only his swirling passions, he becomes obsessed, pushing and testing the limits of what is acceptable while growing more secretive and guilt-stricken in turn. He needs to slow down and consider the circumstances, to balance both his love and duty in a way that allows him to fulfill each in their proper time. But he has no way to order these desires and no one to ask for help, so he charges ahead with his usual courage to the point of recklessness. It's a pattern he will often repeat, with increasingly dire results.
I know I'm disobeying my mandate to protect you, Senator. But I have to go.
Tell me, should Anakin have left his mother to die? Should he not have tried to save her? Should he not have been angry with her torturers? You know the answer. And Anakin does too. It's not wrong to be angry. It's human. Or should Obi-Wan not have been angry when Maul killed his master? The problem isn't feeling anger. That's inevitable, even good. If you care about what's right, injustice will cause anger. The problem is not directing that anger down the right path, letting it run wild over everything else. It's easy to go too far, especially when you feel righteous, which makes it all the more dangerous. A strain of darkness exists within everyone that revels in the suffering of our enemies, that longs to see revenge served, that gratifies itself less in getting what we want than in seeing others get what we think they deserve. We'll take any excuse to let it loose. This is what turns Anakin from a justifiably angry, grieving son into a raging, unrepentant killer. He has nowhere to put his righteous anger. He can't direct it toward justice. He doesn't balance it with duty, compassion, or mercy. You see, the dark side is a kind of monomania. When your desires, even your best desires, even love for a cherished partner or justice for a stolen mother, are isolated from the world and placed above all other considerations, they will consume you completely. They will turn all your virtues and intentions against you and transform you into something you don't recognize, something that is not yourself, something that needs a new name.
Henceforth, you shall be known as Darth Vader.
Anakin shows us that it's not enough to be good. It doesn't matter if you want the right thing. Rushing into battle against evil is not always the right choice. Usually, it will just get you hurt. Often, it will kill the thing you're trying to protect. Sometimes, it will turn you into the thing that you hate. You can't ignore the rules and realities of the world around you, put into place for reasons you may not understand, and you can't ignore the darkness lurking in your own heart. Our capacity for greatness is also the potential for our depravity, which is why the highest among us are those who fall the farthest. Attack of the Clones, for all its faults, understands this essential, tragic truth, that violent delights have violent ends. Hey, I'm Dave. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, check out these essays on other Star Wars movies, and subscribe for the next one in the series on Revenge of the Sith. Till next time, nerds.